Okay, give me 60 seconds to see if I can make a prediction about your lifestyle. I want to see if I can predict your gaming lifestyle from then up until now. Let's go. Phase 1, you had lots of time and no money. You, a child of the late 80s, early 90s, used to have a lot of time to play games, but not really a ton of money to buy games. So you beat Pokemon Red like 50 times, and then you beat Wind Waker like 25 times. Because let's be real, what else were you playing besides the handful of games that your parents bought you for Christmas or your birthday? Phase 2, you had lots of money, but no time. When you started your career, you bought a ton of games thinking you were actually going to have time to play these, because forget college loans. I mean, like, you need money for yourself, for your 4 years of torture. And now your backlog is just piling up because all you do is work overtime. And finally, phase 3 is no money and no time. So you found someone special that you foresee yourself spending the rest of your lives with. Congratulations, and you want to impress her. So you get all nervous and start farting up all over her house and make a fool out of yourself, and yet somehow, despite all that embarrassing stuff, your charm and your care for this person lands you the job of husband. And first comes love, next comes marriage, then comes baby and the baby carriage, and so on and so forth. Now, bills and groceries and taxes and kids' clothes that last you 3 to 4 months and other things are literally tattooing their name on your wallet, and there's absolutely nothing you can do about it. Your spouse and your kids are very happily taking your time, and at the end of the day, you have about an hour left to entertain yourself, and you love to game. Okay, so how did I do? Was I spot on or not even close? The question we need to answer now is, how do you balance gaming and busy life? I'm going to give you 5 practical ways that can help you balance gaming and busy parenting life. So let's dive in.
I don't have friends. I got family.
Okay, so let's establish some ground rules first, and I'm going to hit you with a bit of a hard truth. Life does not revolve around gaming. Gaming is the reward you get after a hard day's work and you have spent time with your family.
Better they are bigger the reward.
That does mean that, unfortunately, sometimes you may not be able to game every day. And there's a solution that I have to that later. Of course, there is your everyday routine, there's work, there's your commute, there's dinner, kids, time with the spouse, etc. But have you ever run into this? I could tell you that communication is key, but there is more to it than just that. Obviously, you can communicate that you want to start gaming at 9 tonight until bed, but that doesn't really exactly guarantee that you will. Have you made your spouse feel appreciated? Have you spent quality time with each other? Have you changed the kids' dirty diapers? Have you folded the laundry? If you have communicated that you want to game tonight, but you have actually fallen short in these areas, you actually might find yourself at a bit of an imbalance. Making sure to go above and beyond and have a team mentality won't necessarily guarantee that you're going to have the reward of gaming tonight, because let's all face it, life is just busy. But at the end of the day, that will give you your best shot. Now, as a disclaimer, there's another side of that too, being that you do not want to do these things in order to gain brownie points to then cash in, thus manipulating your partner, but doing them for the sake of sacrificing your own time and attention for the good of your family should make your partner excited for you to have fun in your hobby. How do you combat being manipulative like that? Let's make sure to do these things on a consistent basis, even when you know you aren't going to be able to game. Ground rules out of the way, let's dive into actual gaming. Point number 2, be disciplined with what you play. First, you don't need a game just because it's cheap. And 2, you don't need to play all your games at one time. You might be excited at all the games that go up on sale, especially around Black Friday, right around now.
I don't need it. I don't need it. I don't need it.
I mean, who doesn't want to grab a bunch of games for the price of one? Thanks, Wario64. I mean, just take a look at the eShop. Lots of these games are on sale right now for $199 to $19.99, maybe some even higher, but still, are these games really worth your time? I have bought a lot of games in my time gaming and really only spending an hour or two on these games and then never touching it again because I really actually thought I would, but life just kind of got in the way. With the limited time that you have available, also comes a limited number of games you're actually going to be able to play. Figure out what games that you have been really locked into and consider maybe completing the game.
Complete it!
Instead of just beating the game. Even finishing the game would be another consideration to make too. If you Google around, there's something around maybe 10 to 20% of gamers that actually finish all the main story or the campaign of their games. Sometimes spending more time in one game is worth more than spreading your time thin between a bunch of smaller games. Again, time and resources are limited, and spending something like 100 hours in, say, The Witcher or Assassin's Creed or Tears of the Kingdom, split over the course of several months and splitting your time doing up a main quest at night and then a couple of side quests in one session will allow for maximum efficiency in gaming. The second subpoint of this is you don't need to play all your games at one time. Make a list either with apps that you have on your phone, your Notes app on your phone by default, maybe Google Docs or even pen and paper, and use these things to help you stay on track and motivate you to finish the game before moving on. If all you do is buy new games all the time, you may be wasting your time and money because who knows if you'll ever get to it. And that money can easily be spent on things that may be better spent in other areas of your family life. A lot of people have only one device. A lot of other people have a primary and a secondary device. Most people I know have either a PS5, an Xbox Series X, or a PC, and then they secondarily game on the Switch or a Miyoo Mini Plus, or if you like me, you have an old Nintendo 3DS from 2004. In addition, you can have a primary game and a secondary game for each to limit yourself not to just one game, but also enough variety so you don't get bored just doing the same game for a long time. In this way, you don't get stuck in 2017, 2018 like I did and buy Spider-Man, Red Dead Redemption 2, Horizon Zero Dawn, Breath of the Wild, Super Mario Odyssey, Smash Ultimate, and then really end up ankle deep in like 10 games when I could have been fully immersed in one game in order to get the enjoyment out of it. 2023 is probably the biggest year since 2018 with all the bangers. You have Tears of the Kingdom, Baldur's Gate 3, Mario Wonder, Starfield, Spider-Man 2, Resident Evil 4, and others. So these games should have you good until 2024, right? I mean, I still haven't even beaten Hogwarts Legacy yet. Tip number 3 is to multitask. When life is too busy, consider gaming with something less attention heavy while doing other things that require your attention elsewhere. We have a plethora of portable devices out there. There's the Switch, there's the Miyoo Mini Plus, there's the RGT 35XX, there's the PlayStation Portal that just released, there's the Steam Deck, there's ROG Ally. There's really plenty of portable devices out there and very ranging in budget. I mean, some of them go for $800-900 and some of them go for $60 to $70. More than likely, you and your partner have shows that you each like to watch. More than likely, you have shows that you yourself like to watch that she doesn't like to watch. I mean, video games are not your only hobby, right? Portable devices allow you to knock out your backlog while doing other things and keeping up on other stories. You can play Golf Story while watching season 2 of Loki by yourself. You can catch Pokemon while watching Survivor with your wife. You can play God of War while watching Blaze because your son is super into cars. Throughout the day, you have a couple minutes of downtime waiting for the bus train to take you to work, right? Portable devices would allow you to get a quick fix as opposed to mindlessly scrolling Twitter or Instagram. Not that there's anything wrong with that. Tip number 4, it is okay to decrease the difficulty of games. When do review embargoes lift? Usually 7 to 10 days before a game releases, depending on how confident the developer is in its product, right? Reviewers need enough time to finish at least a significant portion of the game, whether it's all the main quests or most of the main quest, or at least enough to have a solid opinion on the game to give it a score. Maybe they don't 100% the game, but they at least finish enough of it to have the opinion they need before publishing a review score. They need time in order to do that. So maybe not all, but at least some reviewers beat the game on easier difficulties in order to get to the next game because that's their job. So too is it okay for you to decrease the difficulty if you are feeling stuck on a particular boss, or you just keep on doing this one section of the game that you're not really getting anywhere, and you're unfortunately not learning as well as quick as you need to in order to meet your personal game schedule. I, for one, love Jedi Fallen Order. I try to beat most games on normal, and for this game, I played a lot of the game on normal, but then when it came to the bosses, I ended up decreasing the difficulty down to story mode because, like, I enjoy a really good boss fight, I really do. It's just these bosses in this particular game were a bit much for me personally to handle, so I definitely enjoyed facing the bosses and on a lower difficulty. It's a shame that I couldn't do it on the normal difficulty, but I digress. I still love the game and I still play the game to this day. Doing this may affect your enjoyment of the game too, but if you get too frustrated and end up insulting your TV, like it can actually hear you, then maybe it's okay to decrease the difficulty level in order to move on. The last tip I want to give you is play with your family. Back in the day, I remember watching shows like Lost, House, Heroes, 24 before social media, and a lot of episodes were a thrill to watch, and I would always love discussing theories on what's going to happen in next week's episode, or maybe there was a cliffhanger before the Christmas break, and what are they going to do next? Nowadays, I personally have 2 kids that so far, neither of them are old enough to play video games with, but you can experience games with your kids as a way of entertainment. You have Mario games that are always a hit with the younger kids, but when they get older, you have competitive games like Call of Duty, Smash, and they will probably end up kicking your butt because they have more time to dedicate to that game than you do. Also consider getting a co-op campaign like It Takes Two, Halo, or indie titles like Unravel and Degrees of Separation. I say to include co-op for a couple reasons. The kids have more time to play, so they may end up kicking your butt because you don't really have time to play to dedicate to your skill level. So co-op also forces you to work together to solve a problem that can allow for more of an emotional bonding time than you could competing against each other. Again, both of these different types of multiplayer games are really good, but I do favor co-op slightly more than competitive, especially when I'm playing with my wife, who, she really only likes a few games. She actually does beat me in Mario Kart, but then she also loves playing Crash Bandicoot 1 through 4. The skill level on some of these things are different depending on what player type you are. So again, co-op I think is a little bit better for increasing emotional bond, but I digress. Maybe you disagree. Let me know in the comments below. Creating this guide was a really fun process, and by no means is it the only way to balance parenting and gaming. And I'm sure you have a lot of tips yourself to share with the rest of us in the comment section below. I would like to ask you to share your tips in the comments and how to balance parenting and gaming life. If there's enough interest, I would like to make this into a series and feature your comments on future videos of this topic. Don't forget to give this video a thumbs up and comment below on what dad joke you would like me to annoy my wife with for the next episode. And before you go, over here is a list of some of my videos on the channel that you may find helpful if you are a gamer with way too little time to game. And with that, I'll talk to you on the next one.
Hey. Did you know an apple a day keeps the doctor away? Especially when you throw it at him. Hey. I forgot what I was gonna say.